Hello, this is your capital, and there's lots to be proud of happening right here, right now. Businesses trying out new stuff, looking at things from a new angle, and doing it brilliantly. So brilliantly, they're making it big in London. Let's start by talking about the decisions London makes about what it eats. How much do we think about where our food comes from? How much thought do we even put into what it tastes like? Well, one company here in the capital spends a lot of time thinking about those two questions. But does thinking about it really make a difference? Let's find out.
Looks tempting, doesn't it? But where has that meat come from? How long has it taken to get from the farm to that table? And how is the animal looked after? Questions that perhaps many of us just don't want to think about on our weekly shop. Hartier founder STEFAN believes we really should.
I think trust is paramount when it comes to food. So what we do is we build that trust through transparency, through actually knowing the traceable steps of every product that we sell to our customers. And it's impossible for the supermarkets to provide that level of trust because of the sheer volume games that they're playing and the lack of knowledge they have about the heritage of where the product comes from. The vast difference between how we operate and how a supermarket operates is possible because there is such a heritage dotted around the UK of small producers who devote their work, their parents' work, their children's work, whatever it is, to producing these wonderful animals.
For online farm shop Hartier, this is where it all begins. As a customer, you can trace every order to the farm it came from, and even the butcher who prepared it.
My grandfather was a beef farmer and he used to bring cattle from Ireland. I farmed all my life as well. So then eventually I decided to have my own herd of Highland pedigree cattle. And my dad, he'd be glad that I didn't, that I carried it on.
When we look back, 3 years ago, 4 years ago to the horse meat scandal, another example of the controls, the knowledge, the transparency not being in place. I mean, the whole production mass market facility in itself is abhorrent, really.
In this country, we have passports for every animal that's born.
And that's almost like our passports, right? It's date of birth.
Absolutely. TB testing, movement.
Yeah.
If you move it from one holding to another, you have to record it on the passport. You can tap in any number of my cattle and you'll see the exact movements of them.
The modern age of supermarkets are all about production and the low welfare on the animals, to grow the animals cheaply. So we lose flavour, we lose quality.
So is this one of the ones from Mark?
This is from Mark, yes.
And we talked earlier a little bit about some of the products that people perhaps can't buy at the supermarket.
Yes.
One of those was, you mentioned a skirt actually.
Yeah, we have a skirt up inside here on the hindquarter and the flank. You have what's called body skirt, which comes off from the diaphragm. Hartier use producers like us who can guarantee their quality and the flavour of their products. Our beef is grass-fed, our pork is free-range. We mature all our meats in the fridge to give it that old-fashioned taste and the old-fashioned way of doing it.
But how does this different approach impact the wallets of these producers, as well as people like you and me?
Through the work that we do with our producers, we know that the quality is just that one massive step above. What we're looking to do here is really reward the incredible skill and passion that the producers have by paying them a fair price for this incredible produce, but not translating that into super premium pricing.
Food like it used to taste, before the age of the supermarket. So really, what's the difference?
If you take a supermarket steak or the same piece of meat, we put it on the oven. This is the same size that we put in the oven. And a supermarket will be half of the size because it will shrinkle throughout the cooking process. It means the meat is quite nice and relaxed rather than, induced with a lot of things in order to make it bigger in weight. So actually, I'm quite impressed that someone got the idea of doing this to try and come back to the family rather than use big chain or supermarket. So I'm happy to eat at home. It's for my kids.
Hartier is a business founded on the belief that a gap in the market existed for that traceable route from farm to table, for knowledge about animal welfare and the food chain, for unparalleled quality produce delivered to homes across the country quickly.
We've expanded 300% in the last year, and that's growth in customers, but also growth in suppliers. These are guys that really want to get out and reach a broader audience. They've got amazing produce, and we come to them and we say, here's an amazing route to market. It's easy, we do the legwork. We've got a national audience of people that absolutely love great food and they're passionate about that food. You just carry on producing your great produce and we will bring you this bigger market.
We're trying to connect great food with the people who are looking for that high quality, and that's where you can connect the producer and the customer where they may not have originally found each other. It's providing that stepping stone to that introduction.
My wife and myself and my son Jack are all partners in the business. We're a very close family and we're very passionate about what we do. We love what we do, we're proud of what we do. We produce a good product because we care and put the effort into it. When they open the box at home, what they're looking at is something we've taken care in. Our reputation's on the line. My face is in the box. It's a very personal situation. So they see who has handled their food, who's brought it into the food chain for them. It's not a machine, it's been done by a family and they take pride in what they do.
And after all that care and commitment, what about the produce itself?
Oh, wow.
And that's the beef.
You're not worrying about where it's come from or whether which range in the supermarket you should have bought or anything like that. You just know that it's really good quality.
The taste is so much better for a naturally grown and matured product.
People really want that connection with their food again.
Food like it used to taste. That's one of the greatest things a customer can ever say to us, really, you know.
For smaller producers like myself, you know, on the commercial scheme, they make it more difficult for a specialist breed like I have. And whereas Heartier, they've done their homework and they understand it better.
Delicious. I mean, to really know what you're eating can't be bad, can it? Next, the future. Well, all of our futures probably. The moment when your mum, your dad, or someone you're close to needs properly looking after. Who to turn to? What to expect? Well, the answers to both those questions are being looked at right now here in the capital, and it's looking like a genuine game changer.
I was struggling with my mum. Without Vida, I think I just would have gone under. I got really depressed. I needed somebody to just, I don't know, to support me. Yeah, I really felt that they cared.
Well, I think I'm very lucky to have found Vida because they're so different to other carers I've found. They're more efficient, more caring, and more interested in the people they're coming to see. And we have a laugh too, which makes it better for Jim to have somebody to cheer him up.
Making sure elderly relatives get the care needed becomes an issue for most of us eventually. Families with busy lives, the challenges of distance, or both, means that sometimes they can't get the support when needed. So, assessments and visits from carers follow. But who that carer is and how they're chosen often becomes a random matter of availability. One entrepreneur here in London decided he wanted to change that.
I feel it's a great privilege that we have a healthcare system where anyone, regardless of their background, could get free healthcare. Obviously, the NHS has its own challenges, but we believe that by improving the care industry as a whole, we could ease some of that burden for the NHS. The care industry itself is in structural decline, so we felt we had to change this.
The company he founded is called Vida, and it's Vida's attitude and its service that is proving transformative for the people they provide care for, but also for their families.
My mum, she knew that she had company, and that's what she wanted, somebody to talk to.
You have to match the carer to the client. My relationship with Yolanda was so good because we just got on and we sort of liked the same sort of things, but we had a good relationship. We did. We used to sing, we used to watch bargain hunt, because she's like my granny.
And it's no coincidence. The Vida way of pairing client with carer is unique.
Part of what we're doing at Vida is obviously the technology. The differentiator with Vida is that we've got a matching algorithm that uses the inputs that the care assessor collects and finds the carer in our database that's best matched to them. So this matching is done on a variety of factors like interests, skills, do they need a male or a female carer, but most importantly is the location of that carer. It will always be a carer who's close by to that particular client.
Jim and Mary were my first clients. I literally walked in and that sense of great feeling, that family feeling, lovely couple, to be honest, within a couple of weeks, we had a great rapport with each other. And the thing is, it doesn't feel like work. It's a pleasure, and it's not a job. I used to be a chef for about 7 or 8 years. So it's nice to bring the cooking aspect as well. I think it goes down very well with all the clients as well.
My husband Jim had never had a male carer before, so we did wonder what it was going to be like. But he walked in, liked him straight away, and we just got on straight away. We went out onto the terrace, and he told me he was a chef, so I told him to move in. It's just a marvellous relationship.
Vida co-founder and Chief Care Officer Devika Wood is pleased about that, and she has very personal motivations for wanting to change the care industry.
My grandma actually brought me up when I was younger. When I turned 10 years old, she got very sick. She had her first stroke. We engaged with social services to get some care in for my grandma. And over the period of the next 12 years, we had about 150 different carers walk through our door. We felt like we didn't have the support that we needed to look after my grandma, and we didn't have the skills or the knowledge to be able to look after her ourselves.
And Vida does do better. Its carer visits are significantly longer than industry standard and include real-time monitoring, often daily checks that are logged and given to clients and their relatives, so that visits to doctors are fueled by detailed records of how they're doing across each week.
So our focus at Vida is on the quality of care. We are developing a tech platform. We are developing this dashboard to improve the logistics and efficiencies in delivering care. The way that we are empowering our carers through technology is we're providing them with an app whereby they can note down the tasks that they have actually done, and we get it fed back into the office. So in that hour allocated to them and the family, we are getting much more information from our carers to know exactly what they've done when they've walked in, and that puts everyone's mind at ease.
For Vida, it's about professionalising the care industry, offering a career path, market-leading pay and comprehensive training.
We value our carers, which is why our carers are well paid, and we tend to train our carers in what we've called the Vida way, which is making sure they're vibrant, they're independent, they also recognize that they're professionals, and we're not just concentrating on the knowledge aspect of things, we're also looking at the necessary soft skills which is required for them to do the job, because at the end of the day, this is a human job. We deal with people are dynamic in nature.
Vida currently serve a number of local authorities in London and Sussex. They believe that holding their clients and their carers at the heart of everything they do, empowering them, valuing their independence and their dignity, is a significant step in the right direction.
Vida, setting new standards in care and well-being for the elderly. Now, if this cake is our life, then this rather large chocolatey slice represents how much time we spend at work. Yes, all of that. So what work is like, the experience of being there, wherever there is pretty significant. Next, we're taking you into the future for a glimpse at how the workplace of today is changing and where it may be in a couple of years from now. If you work in an office, this is your chance for a must-see peek through the tea leaves.
The working world is changing fast.
The workplace has changed enormously since its origins at the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. The workplace of the 21st century is going to be different from the workplace of the 20th century. Now we have a whole range of new technologies which are reshaping the office, and the whole experience of being in the workplace is going to be very different.
Here in London, Condeco is a company that gets that and has done for 10 years. Starting in a small office in South London, growing into a company with global reach, supporting how we work today and developing technology to support the future.
The future is very, very exciting, and I think we're just really at the beginning of the real evolution of workspace and the ways that people interact with that space. We are now moving into a very flexible working environment. Having an effective scheduling solution is vital to ensuring that you get flexible working truly rolled out within an organisation for what is going to be a revolution into the way that people work.
Condeco offers a tech solution, office engineering, creating smart workspaces, making the office an environment where how we need to use it governs what it looks like and how much time we spend there. Common sense, listening, and a large slice of technology too. 30% of all the money Condeco makes goes back into research and development.
So in a nutshell, we help companies manage and make better use of their workspace. You can see an available desk, it's marked green, and I just use my access card to the building and touch in, and that reserves that desk for me. And when I leave, I just touch out.
This is Condeco's product design and development team. Their job is to be ahead of the curve. With world-leading companies among their clients, they've got pretty good at it, and it starts with the basics.
We're getting a lot of feedback. We're engaged quite deeply with our clients. We're going out, we observe people in the workplace and what they're doing, and to understand how useful and usable those concepts are. We look at what future technologies can provide, and we see that opportunity and conceptualize a product that could deliver that. And these are key things that drive our product development.
Office design has become one of the key points of the talent agenda. If employers can offer a really great office environment, then maybe people will choose them and not somebody else.
One of the key concerns that companies have in their workplace strategy is attraction and retention of talent, especially the millennials, for example. They have totally different expectations of what workspace should look like and what amenities they have and what choices they get.
I think that they are going to become much more like hospitality spaces. They're going to become settings for social interaction.
Tech is certainly fast removing the layers of hassle from office life. Condeco's Connect is right now daily defeating that age-old problem of securing a meeting room when you need it. No more searching corridors, no more double bookings. Local room screens linked to your work calendar, access through your desktop or a mobile app. Complete visibility all of the time.
The beauty of it is it hasn't changed how we work, it's just enhanced it. Just give it a little swipe. That room is now booked. That will populate across all of the Outlook calendars as well, so it'll provide visibility for everybody in the office. Being able to see these lights without having to get up and walk up to each screen in the meeting room, it saves time and again just makes staff's life a little bit easier.
And the ability to book multiple rooms across international territories to get all of the people you need in places you need them, when you need them.
We realised that there was a massive gap in the enterprise and business market for professional scheduling of workspace. We did start with half a dozen of us working in a small office, and from that very humble beginnings, we've grown into an international business with 14 offices around the world. We employ 350 people, and this year we will turn over in excess of £35 million.
So if that's what good looks like now, what next? Where is tech like Condeco's taking us in, say, 10 years?
The office of the near future, enabled by new technologies, will know exactly who's coming into the building, what their profile is, which projects they're working on. It will prepare your coffee just how you like it. It will seamlessly engage you with creative knowledge work, all through a technology interaction that is invisible.
There's a number of technologies which will really become important in the next years. I think facial recognition and voice recognition is going to play a big role in the next years. That's just going to be one part of the equation. The space is also going to respond to them. So, for example, if I arrive at a desk via facial recognition, that desk may, for example, automatically adjust its height to a desk height that I normally use.
Reality right now is Condeco busy getting on with smoothing the wrinkles of the working day.
The workspace is continually changing, and I think that businesses today must now adapt and adopt these flexible working practices so that people can find that available space.
It's clear that the 21st century office is going to be very different from the 20th century office. In the 21st century, we've got a whole load of new technologies, software-driven services and systems that are reshaping the office. So the shape of the future is going to be very different.
Condeco, big thinkers changing the workplace and leading innovation worldwide. Last up from me this hour, some junk talk. Yes, I'm really talking rubbish. Prepare to save some cash and sleep just a little easier tonight, particularly if things at home are a little messy right now.
bit of a squeeze, but job done. By AnyJunk, the UK's largest man and van rubbish clearance company. A simple alternative to hiring a skip or using the council's bulky waste collection service. AnyJunk is available on demand to get rid of stuff that's too big for the bin. From broken furniture, bric-a-brac and appliances, to garden refuse, fly-tipped rubbish and builder's waste. They load it all up, they sweep it all clean, and they take it all away for disposal. AnyJunk is pretty good at it too. More than 1,500 clearances every week nationwide, and picking up numerous business awards along the way. But if you were expecting to see lots of AnyJunk depots full of trucks, drivers and junk, you're about to be disappointed, because this is it. Just like Airbnb, Deliveroo and Uber, AnyJunk is using technology and innovative thinking, not trucks and collection crews, to turn its industry on its head.
Originally I was a corporate financier for Rothschilds. I worked in the city for about 10 years and I got bored and wanted to do something entrepreneurial. So took a year out, found myself and came up with junk. It was an area that seemed to be crying out for professionalisation and also there was no national brand, so I wanted to go out and create a brand.
Jason started AnyJunk in 2004. The banker turned bin man with one truck and worked on it himself for the first 6 months. Over the years, the business gradually expanded until it had a fleet of 38 trucks and employed more than 100 people.
As we grew, it was getting harder and harder to maintain the sort of service levels we'd started with. Customers were increasingly looking for a kind of faster response and a more reliable response. And the only way we could do that was with a bigger fleet. So we decided to change our model entirely to more of a platform business, a bit like Uber and Deliveroo.
In other words, rather than employing its own fleet and crews, AnyJunk shifted to using technology, working with local waste collection businesses that plug into AnyJunk's platform using an app, and they do the shifting and clearing.
When we used to have our own fleet, we had about 40 trucks operating all around the country. And now with the new model, we have access to a virtual fleet of 400, operated by 150 or so service partners. And essentially what that means is we're able to get to a job much quicker and more reliably than we ever could before. It's a much bigger network, right? And that also brings down the miles per job, which is good for the environment. And the other thing that this model's brought is access to very engaged operatives. When you're working with local entrepreneurs, they care. You know, they're really interested in doing a great job and the feedback that they get from the customers.
Our tech system will find a job and then identify the teams that are best suited to that job, and then we send out job offers in the order of proximity. So if you've got a job on your doorstep, you'll get that offer first. So that makes it super green, super short mileage, and also really attractive to the suppliers because they only have to drive a few hundred meters in some instances. We work with existing businesses who have their own work already, and we look to send them work that will supplement their existing workload. They can pick and choose the ones that really make sense for them to do. By having this extensive coverage of service partners, we can provide our customers with a really, really fast service.
We love working for AnyJunk, really. It suits us down to the ground. They basically send out job offers, and it's down to us whether we accept them or not. It gives us kind of freedom to do our own work and then work along with AnyJunk as well. They've got accounts with some of the biggest bathroom, kitchen and insurance companies out there, jobs that we wouldn't get ourselves, so it's pretty good high-end work. With the sector that they're in, as a small business, for me, it's great to be part of something that's on a bigger scale and making basically the industry more efficient.
We have a very thorough screening and induction process here, which consists of full criminal record checks, standardised ways of working, trade references, health and safety policies. We do on-the-spot compliance checks. We have GPS location data, and we also have customer feedback after every single job. Our average rating is 4.9 stars out of 5. We also have a very high rating on our Trustpilot. A lot of feedback from the customers is that the guys are absolutely fantastic. It's fast, it's quick, it's easy, they're presentable.
They just got lots of great comments from the customers. Courteous, responsive, easy to schedule. I called them yesterday, they're here today. So they're doing a fantastic job doing just what they said they would, and they're taking good care of the neighborhood. It makes a lot of sense to go with these guys.
I love the fact that we really are the best at what we do, and that rather than replacing local companies with our own trucks, we actually help support good local businesses and help them grow. Never thought I would end up in junk, but it's cool working for somewhere that's changing things for the better.
We're definitely the biggest in the market by a long way, but it's very fragmented, and so we have ambitions to take up a decent size of that market, and then in time to expand overseas, particularly the US. Energy junk's still a pretty small business. The beauty of the model is that the bigger we become, the more efficient we become, the faster we can respond, the cheaper we operate. So I guess the next couple of years all about getting the name out there and growing fast.
Junk, cleaning up the capital without the hassle. And that's it. Another half hour very well spent with London Live. New ideas, better results, and all of them making it big in London. See you next time.